Hi, everybody, and welcome to today's Tip of the Week episode. I'm your host, Lori Palau. Welcome if you are new to our show. I'm so happy that you're here. If you are an OG, thanks so much for coming in and tuning in each and every week. Just a reminder, we've got our new resource guide that is available for download. It's a free resource that gives you just some guidance depending on where you are in your organizing journey of where to go first, whether it's bingeable episodes, whether it's checklists, whether it's resources and products that can help you with whatever you are struggling with. So if it's more on the decluttering side, more on the organization side, if you have ADHD questions, we've got a bunch of stuff that we've kind of compiled by category, and you can download it for free. We'll drop the link below in the episode show notes for you. So be sure to check that out. I want to actually, before we get into today's tip of the week, I just want to make mention of something. So last week's tip of the week episode, I was talking about tips for organizing your emergency car kit for the winter. And I totally spaced on mentioning one of the most important things, which is having an ice scraper in your car. So I just, at before it aired, I realized that I did not include that in the episode. And instead of re-recording the entire thing, I figured I would just put a little like footnote in today's episode. If you did already listen to last week's episode, please know that as part of your refreshing your emergency car kit, keeping an ice scraper and like a duster to dust the snow off is part of that kit. So please just make a note of that. And goes to show that sometimes if I don't have my notes in front of me, I am known to forget something. So hopefully I won't do that today. But today's episode is all about snow days for the kiddos. And I was having this conversation not too long ago with a girlfriend of mine who has a middle school daughter. Now, if you've been around me for a minute, you know my girls are grown-ish. They're 21 and 24. So we're not really dealing with snow days. But I remember back in the day when my kids would have snow days, and it can throw you sideways. Like we all like a snow day every now and again, but sometimes, especially if you're a working parent and you're like, oh my gosh, I still have to go to work and my kid's off. What am I going to do? And what we don't want to do is we don't want to just have a digital babysitter all day, right? We don't want to throw them in front of the TV or in front of a screen, and just say, here, scroll or watch videos all day. I know that parents, we do that when we're in a bind, and I am not throwing shade or judgment against anybody. However, I think part of the reason why we often do that is because we're not prepared in terms of having an alternative. And kids, again, I'm going to sound like an old person right now, but those kids today are so used to immediate gratification because they have screens and everything at their disposal. And so when they are off of their routine and you don't want them to have that, the challenge is, what are we going to do to replace that? And so one of the ideas that I came up with was having a snow day preparation station. And this can look different depending on the ages of your kids, the space that you have to work with. Like for some people, if space is a premium, they may not have an extra closet or space for this. It might just be, one little area, or maybe it's in a wheelable cart, or maybe it's in the, I don't know, top of a shelf somewhere. But what I am recommending is having like what I used to have, my bag of tricks for my girls, of if we need to entertain them, where do we go to just grab this stuff? And so what would you put in this? And obviously the contents are going to vary based on your children, their ages, and their interests. But here are just a few ideas. I think you want to have some sort of arts and crafts thing, books, puzzles. There could also be some other, like this one is, again, may or may not include you, but just some like fun recipes. And maybe it's something that doesn't even require a lot of like baking or anything. Maybe it's something like jello where they're just mixing and stirring. Now, obviously, this is going to all be contingent on your kids' ages. But I think when we can give them an actual project, a task, something to do, that gives them, it makes it a lot easier for them to not feel like they can't just sit there and be like on TikTok all day. So, and again, no shade to anybody, no judgment, but I think we have to replace it. We can't just say you don't want to be on a device and don't bother me and don't talk to me and not give them an alternative. So, what are some things? I know that for a lot of people, they tell me that for the holidays, whether it's Christmas or Hanukkah, their kids get such an influx of toys or games. And so many people have like put them away. They didn't open all of them. It might be a good idea if you have this to, if you have those like extra unopened gifts, put them away for a snow day, right? Rainy day projects. These are great times to whip this out and say, here, we're going to do this. And depending on what your situation is, if you're able to entertain your kid or you're hiring a babysitter or you want them to entertain themselves. So some of these things may involve some adult supervision or like teenage supervision, and other things your kids are going to be able to do independently. Maybe they're going to be working on like a Lego project or something that they can just sit there and, just work on themselves. And so what my goal is for you to not just be caught in the 11th hour when the snow day happens, when your boss says, I need you to present to this meeting and you have your 3 kids home, to be like, oh no, what am I going to do? So think ahead, think about some things that your kids might be interested in. Think about some kind of low level commitment, low cost activities and things that you can provide for your kids. You can also do fun things like come up with ideas for, card games and dance parties and other things that are out of the box for them to do. And if you'd like, this is a great thing. We did an episode last month about using ChatGPT for running your house. And I specifically was talking about using it for meal prep. This is also one of those great opportunities of like, my kid is into fill in the blank. What are some great kind of rainy day or snow day activities that they can do relating to that? So I hope I hope these tips have been helpful for you. If you know somebody that can benefit from this episode, just click the share button wherever you're listening. It's so easy. And if you don't know somebody specific, just like click share and put it to your stories. And it's a great way for somebody that may not know that we exist to just, find something that might be valuable to them. So easy way to put, pay it forward without offending somebody of saying, I think you need some organizing help. Right. So, anyway, guys, if you have any other questions, topic ideas, you know where to find us, info@simplybeorganized.com. Until then, or until next week, I'm Lori Palau. Peace out.